Hello, 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 everyone. This is Dr. Garrett Smith, the nutrition detective around these here YouTube parts, and we are here for another Love Your Liver Livestream, number 159. And I just had, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, first of all, for those of you who want to find a video that is good, or a video or a podcast that is good for introducing other people to this life-changing work, the podcast I did with Alec Zeck, his podcast is called The Way Forward. I did that about, I don't know, 2 months ago. I went to Austin and I was on his podcast. He was very gracious for having me on. And that just came out this last week. So to all of you who are here listening for your first time, or you're new to the live stream, welcome here. And Joe's putting up the link to both the Apple podcast and the YouTube video down there. So there's a video one and there's an audio one. People out there, I think, where was it? Tillandsias neoids. I don't know how you say that. She said that the Zeck interview was excellent. So there's the YouTube picture of it, and some people are saying it's like one of the best podcasts I've been on. So if you want to share that with people, I mean, feel free. That is, if you want a more, I think it was about 2 hours. Yeah, what does it say on there? 210. Yeah, so it was about 2 hours, and it was a lot of fun. And kind of Alec told me afterwards that it blew his mind a bit. So it was exciting. It was good. So today we're going to be doing a lot of testimonials, because this week I've had multiple testimonials on my Twitter. And we also accumulated several testimonials of long-term people from the network. And again, I do not give names of people on the network. If you were to join the network, you could search and find these testimonials and you could see the names, but I'm not going to put them out in public. We have a private network for a reason. There are some very unscrupulous characters who sometimes like to take screenshots from inside the Love Your Liver program. Little sneaky people. Not good people. Toxic people do toxic things. So, it's not all private, but some people are jealous of our progress and us getting people better, and they have to try to poke little teeny holes wherever they can. Must be such a sad existence for these people. So, and just remember, if you're one of the little haters, you're here watching me. I'm not watching you. So let's get into it. Another thing I want to remind you guys of, if there's been lots of people, probably paid shills, who are trying to badmouth vitamin A toxicity and vitamin A detox on the YouTubes and other places. I want to thank you folks for bringing attention to this, because people will start to realize that they've had very high vitamin A diets and that they have the symptoms that we fix, and that maybe they've been lied to about vitamin A. So it's called the Streisand effect, right? The more they try to get people not to look at this, the more people look at it. So I want to give a big thanks to all you haters for helping us out, because we're the truth and you're not going to hide it. And you'll see that in the testimonials today. So, and always remember, when these vitamin A toxicity people, the deniers, are out there, ask them how we're getting so many good results and why we don't just have a trail of hundreds of people saying that they got worse. They'll try to find one or two here and there. And if you guys know anything, if you've seen Amazon reviews, if you see 1,000 good reviews and then you see one bad review, you either know that was a fluke, or like the person didn't know how to plug in the object, right? It's user error. This happens in the real world, okay? There was people who early on in the vitamin A detox tried to do zero vitamin A, and they ate like white flour and white sugar, and they felt worse. Well, no, right? It's white flour and white sugar. It may be zero vitamin A, but it's not a human diet. So let's get into that. Oh yeah, Grant did post his 10-year anniversary of low vitamin A. So a 10-year anniversary. Joe, I don't know if you can find that link. If somebody wants to post it in the chat, that'd be great, just to help Joe find it so he can post it on the video, so he doesn't have to go searching while we're live. So Grant has been doing basically the prison diet, as he calls it, the beef or bison, black beans, white or brown rice, for 10 years now. This was his goal initially. He's told me this over the years. His goal was to do this for 10 years. Then he was going to choose what he wanted to do after that. Now, I didn't actually read the whole article because I'm going to have Grant. I will, and I'm going to have Grant on here. We'll do an interview. I'm at about the 6-year mark. He's at about the 10-year mark. Yeah, there's Genereux.blog, and you can find his free ebooks there. You can find his 10-year update. Folks, if vitamin A was necessary, he should be toast. He is thriving. He has a list of, 20 things that have improved. Those of you who have done this with us, how many of you out there have? So there's Grant's testimonial right there, so that we can just add another testimonial to this. Grant's testimonial. We just keep adding people and conditions. Like, how many of you out there started doing this, and as you got better, like when you see Grant's list of symptoms on there, he's not when he first started doing this, he complained about his bad eczema, his jaundice, and his chronic kidney disease. And when you look at his list of symptoms that have improved, there are a ton of symptom improvements. Like, look at all of that. So a lot of people at the start, I know I had this, you didn't realize you had problems, or had so many problems, until they got better. Right? How many of you were like, I didn't really even know I had a problem until all of a sudden it went away. And then you go, oh, wow, I guess that was a problem. This happens all the time because these toxicities are affecting you in more ways than you realize. And we've grown to we've been told like, oh, it just sucks getting older. Does it? So yeah, Zendog Breath says, my list of improvements is growing. My problems are shrinking. This is what we do. This has become my tagline on Twitter in just all caps when people give me a testimonial. All caps, this is what we do. Maybe I should make that into a hashtag so we can just tag them all like that. Anyway, so let's get into it. First, we're going to go over the testimonials from several other long-term people in the Love Your Liver program and how they're improving. Okay. So, oh wait, I got to go share my screen. Sorry, Joe, I forgot to do that. Let me go here and share. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Let me make this view. I won't worry about it. You guys can read it. I'll make it a little bigger. Okay, so here we go. Let's take this off. There we go. Oh yeah, Hope added that her uncle started this about 4 weeks ago and has shown much improvement. And then Lilium says, I've been doing this a little over 2 years now. 2 of my 3 issues have improved. This is what we do. So, now this is actually, I know he doesn't mind me saying this. SG here is Steve Gadecki. Steve Gadecki is a chiropractor in practice. And he came to this with lots of issues. I know he doesn't mind me talking about this because he talks about it on Twitter all the time. He actually posted a big list of his testimonial stuff on his Twitter just the other day. So anyway, I did, this is his. Here's what he says. I was lucky enough to have some of my most debilitating issues, severe sacroiliitis, greatly improve almost immediately when I started the program. But I'm in year 3 now, and I'm still having things change for the better at a pretty steady clip. Recently, my vision blurriness / disorientation with heavy exercise or heat is starting to fade, and I've had that for 10 plus years. Niacin, he means flush niacin or nicotinic acid, never anything else. No niacinamide, no nicotinamide, none of that other garbage. Niacin did something powerful to my body that I couldn't undo even if I stopped niacin, and I started pouring out toxins through the skin on my hands, severe eczema, but I can tell this won't be forever, and it is improving. I'm going to cover these stuff in more detail as we go. I can feel that niacin has greatly sped up the rate that my most nagging chronic problems are fading. I wish I would have known about it from the beginning. Though it is probably too much for some people, I've settled around 2,500 milligrams to 5,000 milligrams a day, about a teaspoon, and my flushing is pretty minor if I get it at all. So let me cover some things on here because, of course, you haters out there will love to grab on, oh my gosh, he got a little worse. What do people do on pharmaceutical medicine or most other diet fads out there? They get a little better at the beginning and then they fade and they get worse over time. Oh no, during detox, they got a little worse. Oh no, let's try to point this out. You guys are so funny. So, first, bile dumping. Steve was having some vision blurriness or disorientation with heavy exercise or heat. What do we talk about that are agitators on the program or things that cause you to dump an excess load of bile? Oh, heat, exercise. So what is happening with Steve is if he triggers an excessive bile dump, he gets bile leakage symptoms. He's not out of the woods yet. He knows this. He's in 3 years. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay? He says things are changing for the better at a pretty steady clip. We look for the long-term changes. We don't want people to suffer short-term, and that's why we're always talking about slowing down if you're pushing too hard. Well, Steve is kind of like me and a lot of others out there who are aggressive and like to push things. They would like it to be over quicker. And the thing about it is, if you push things, you push things. You want to test the limits, you get to find out your limits. If you hit your limits, you better back off. It's very simple. Don't complain about the program making you feel worse when the program constantly talks about backing off if you don't like what's going on. Is the juice worth the squeeze? If the juice is not worth the squeeze, then stop squeezing it. Okay? This is very simple. Some people can't get this. Steve gets it. Steve knows exactly what he's doing. He knows. If he's pushing it too hard, he knows he's pushing it too hard, and he's okay with that. So that's why I'm not saying Steve is doing anything wrong. You can make yourself purposely feel like crap if you think you're going to get out of this a little earlier. You can do that. Am I advising it? No. Can you do it? Sure. So he says here, so these issues he had for 10 or more years. I used to be, if I worked out in the heat, I was and I live in Tucson, right? So if you go out and you do yard work in the summer or you're doing exercise out in the summer, I would get absolutely wrecked for the rest of the day. I'd be tired. I'd be grumpy. I'd be hungry. I'd just be everything. I would be really grumpy. And that doesn't happen anymore. So heavy exercise. Oh yeah. Heavy exercise. I used to do workout programs, hard, like they were prescribed. And at about the 4-week mark, I'd always catch a cold. I'd start to feel more and more tired over the weeks, and then I'd catch a cold. And I learned that just wasn't for me. But now I know why. So toxic bile theory can start to explain the whys of why you don't feel good when you do certain things. So anyway. Oh, Baptized in Fire is saying, or asking, but will it get you through sooner if you can handle it? Pushing too hard, that is. In theory, yes. In practice, do you want that? I mean, the thing to remember about your toxic bile leaking into your system is that the bile is the cause of your health problems, and the bile is, over time, the solution to your problems. So if you are dumping more bile and you are leaking more bile because of things you're doing, whether you realize them or not, if you have a ton of, let's say, family stress or money stress or other things happening, you will dump more bile. Okay, you may not be able to change that. Can you change the other things you're doing? Sure, you could adjust your soluble fiber. You could adjust your niacin. You could adjust your lactoferrin. You could adjust anything that you think might be triggering it. You could adjust those things down, the things you have control of. Now, if you are dumping a bunch of excess bile, so you're dumping bile, whatever's going into your guts is going into your guts. And hopefully you're pooping it out. If you're not pooping much, I wouldn't push things. So some of that bile is leaking into the blood. which means it's going to your kidneys, which means it's also likely going out of your skin. Your kidneys don't like bile very much. And fatigue in Chinese medicine is often associated with the adrenals, which are part of the kidneys, right? So Western associates with the adrenals. Sorry, Chinese medicine associates it with the kidneys. In Chinese medicine, the kidneys and the adrenal are basically one piece. So you might get more tired. And then if your skin issues are flaring up, you're pushing that toxic bile out through the skin. So are you overall making and dumping more toxic bile? Yes. Are you pooping it out? Well, maybe. I don't know. But if you're pooping it out, you're pooping it out. It is then hitting your kidneys. Now, we know it damages kidneys. Like Grant fixed his chronic kidney disease by fixing these problems. And then as you'll see, Val is fixing his chronic kidney problems through this. That's one of the testimonials today. And your kidneys don't like it. Your kidney problems are toxic bile problems hitting your kidneys. And there's issues from that. If you tend to get a really stiff lower back for no reason that you can figure out, or let's say you have a really stressful day and then you wake up the next morning and your back is super stiff, that's your kidneys talking to you. They're saying, we don't like this. It's bile hitting them. And then if you have skin problems that are aggravating, not only is your liver not getting rid of the bile fast enough through the poop, your kidneys are not getting rid of the bile fast enough, and now it's coming out of your skin. So in a way, are you probably detoxing overall faster? Yeah, you got bile coming out of your poop, your pee, your skin. Do you want to suffer like that? I can't answer that for you. All I can say is don't blame the program. If you stick your hand in the dog's cage and you get bit, don't blame the dog owner, right? Okay? So, Mimu Chan says, "Hi, Dr. Smith. Love your live streams. They are full of info and no BS." Well, I try to be BS free. So, cheers. I'm putting down my Niacin Black from Kelsey right now. You may see me start flushing in a bit. But see, so let's talk about, as Zen Dog Breath, Joe says, no pain, no gain, no way, no pain means faster gain. Well, I don't know. There's something to it. Okay, so think about this. This is another consideration with pushing too hard. The toxic bile is what caused the leaks. The toxic bile is what was eating holes in things that then leaked into your bloodstream. I liken this to a flood. Like, so the rain happens, the flood happens, and then afterwards, what is left after the waters have receded? You are left with the damage. So if you start pushing bile dumping too hard for too long, well, for too hard anyway, like what is a flu? The flu is a massive dump of toxic bile that is leaking into your system. Now, some people, there have been, okay, folks, long COVID is not like a new thing. There have been people losing or having problems after they get sick for a very long time. What do they call it? Post-influenza. Let me see if I can find it. This is the idea of people getting the flu and being worse after it is not something new. It's not just a jab thing. Okay? This has been around a long time. And the idea that people have lost their sense of smell from the flu before. So what the term you can look up is post-influenza syndrome. It's been around. It's not new. Okay? So, and the lack of smell, the loss of smell with a cold or a flu, especially a flu, is not anything new. These are caused by bile dumping. Why? What causes the loss of sense of smell? Zinc deficiency, which most of us have. Copper toxicity. I've got studies on fish showing that when they poison them with copper, their olfactory nerves, their smell nerves got fried. And cadmium toxicity. Weird that zinc is an antagonist to both copper and cadmium, isn't it? So if people had a zinc deficiency, and zinc deficiency has been associated with a lack of smell, a loss of smell, anosmia. Zinc deficiency, copper toxicity, cadmium toxicity. So this is what causes that. Has that been around but longer than the coof? Yes, it's been around longer than the coof. Okay. So anyway, so let's say you push bile dumping really hard. That bile is what caused the holes to appear in the first place. If you're pumping out more bile, could you make the leaks worse? What do you think post-influenza syndrome is? They dumped a massive ton of bile. It ate more holes. They're not fixing the holes. The holes are staying there. The flood happens. The rain and the flood happens. What is the most dangerous time during heavy rains with flooding? Is it during it or is it after it? Well, obviously it's during it. When do people feel the worst? When they are dumping all this toxic bile and leaking it into their system. Is the flood waters causing damage and like water's going into places where it normally doesn't? Yes, think of that as the new bile leaks. The rain goes away, the stress goes away, the flu goes away, the going out in the heat goes away, the summer goes away. What is left after the flood? Damage. How long does it take to fix that damage? You can't put a number on it. So I would tend to say, and then also during that damage, when you're dumping all that toxicity at once, and let's say your nutritional intakes are too low, heavy detox needs more nutrients. You just push detox really hard. Could you have exacerbated or made worse your nutrient deficiencies by, and nothing against you, baptized in fire, but I'm just saying by being greedy or impatient and thinking I'm just going to suffer short term? You don't know how short term it is. But you think you're just going to suffer short term and then it'll all go away soon. I mean, what if you pushing hard and suffering for, like Steve here, 3 years, he's 3 years deep. What if he was making himself suffer for 3 years and it was going to be, 5 years total, and him pushing hard got him to the end point 6 months faster, 10% fast, like about 10% faster. Do you want to suffer for years to like maybe get there 10% faster? I can't answer that for you. I tend to not cause problems. Let me just hit this super chat real quick here. Hold on, let me bring that up again. So Oscar did a super chat. He said, detoxing too hard on chicken/rice only, getting relief from small amounts of vitamin A, 1,000 units a day from eggs and butter. So, well, you can't say you're on chicken and rice only. Thank you for the super chat, Oscar. I will answer this. Okay, temporary strategy. Also, 1 tablespoon of yogurt stops diarrhea issues. Is it the calcium? So, let's hit this. Detox needs zinc. Like, you need zinc. I'm going to just say this, that and I don't know, Oscar, I don't know anything. This is something that I've seen about people with certain ethnic backgrounds who don't eat red meat, who I have worked with. People with certain ethnic backgrounds who do not eat red meat often suffer more than others. Why would this be? Well, red meat has about something like 10 times more zinc in it than chicken. Okay, Oscar. Well, the chicken's the ethnic background's not really the issue here. It's the chicken. I've just seen it as a pattern. So when people don't get enough zinc, you need zinc to get vitamin A out of the liver. You need zinc to run alcohol dehydrogenase. You need zinc to make retinol binding protein. So you need zinc to both help you detox vitamin A and to help you protect yourself from it. Chicken has always, people who are doing only chicken, that tends to be a concern. So, you know, I'm not giving zinc supplementation advice. If somebody was going to take zinc on their own and they were not testing, I generally don't take people high. If people are not testing, I don't have them go above 30 milligrams a day, unless if you choose to on your own, that's all you. 30 milligrams a day is my long-term, generally safe dosing of zinc picolinate for people who are not doing any form of testing. Do I take people who do testing and who are being monitored higher than that? Yes, sometimes significantly higher. But I'm just not, people don't understand that I'm just not flippant with my recommendations, and I don't just tell everybody to take, like, somebody on Twitter asked me the other day, can I just take 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day and will I be fine? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't give that advice. Like, one person may be fine, another person may not be. I know my dose of zinc. I test, and I actually take slightly more than that, but I'm also a 200-pound male, and I seem to have high needs for minerals. Okay, not everybody needs that much. But red meat, I would be trying to either... Okay, so Oscar says, I've tried a lot. High red meat, low fiber, high fiber. Seem to be doing bad on all of it. I'm going to guess you must have made yourself pretty vitamin A toxic, Oscar. You're saying small amounts of vitamin A and some yogurt against diarrhea gives you some relief. Okay, so the yogurt is likely helping, because if you haven't read the probiotics section of, I'm itching my flesh. If you haven't read the probiotics section of the Love Your Liver program, I would definitely read that. Okay, Oscar says, yes, very toxic, copper toxic too. So yeah, definitely in the Love Your Liver program, we have a whole section on probiotics. Probiotics actually change your bile. So that's why, folks, if you're going to do cultured foods, like especially stuff that's generally going to be higher in vitamin A, like let's say dairy products like yogurt, you only need like a spoonful at a time. Like, it's been said that a tablespoon of yogurt is like worth 10 or 20 probiotic pills. So then you start to wonder, could people be overdoing probiotics if they're eating giant bowls of yogurt every day, or they're drinking, you know, pints or quarts of kombucha or kefir? Yeah, you could overdo it. You could overload things. You can imbalance things. Okay, Oscar says, I feel awful on probiotics / fermented foods. Well, I would put yogurt in there. So if it is SIBO is, I actually did an episode on SIBO here in the live stream, so you may want to watch that. Candida issues, we look at zinc and selenium and molybdenum, the big minerals. Those are big issues for that. So there's a lot of stuff that, like, this is where people doing it on their own. I mean, the Love Your Liver program is a do-it-yourself thing by itself, or they work with Nathan or I, or we just brought Hope and Kelsey on, so they're taking appointments. So if you guys want to get scheduled with them, that is available now. But this is where, you know, if somebody has a molybdenum deficiency, Candida, yeast fungus in the gut, loves molybdenum deficiency, probably because of the aldehyde excess. Selenium's antifungal, zinc is antifungal. These are the big minerals. So if these things aren't being addressed, then that can be an issue. So what I would say, Oscar, right now, okay, this is a very straightforward thing. You're not doing anything wrong. Let me give you another example story. We had a woman come into the program. She was, I think she was on disability. She was very unwell. And I think she was eating like 3 foods when she came in. There were only 3 foods that she tolerated. One of those foods was dried mango. So she came into the program and she was talking to some of the Love Your Liver people, and they'd immediately say, you got to get off the mango. You got to get off the mango. And she was actually a client of mine, a private client of mine. And, Joe, trying to find the SIBO, look for like colitis or irritable bowel. See if you can find it that way. So anyway, everybody's telling her to get off of it. And I said, so this is going to be the same thing for you, Oscar. I would say, I said to her, I said, look, if you starve yourself because you can't eat anything, you're gonna get worse. If you undereat over time, you're gonna make yourself worse. You're gonna give yourself health problems. So I said, for right now, this is for you too, Oscar. Do everything in the program that you can. If you need to fill in the gaps with a food that's not normally on the program, do it for now. Over time, as you get better, you won't need as much of that to bring down the symptoms. And eventually, you'll know you're getting better when you cannot use that anymore. This is how we do it. Like if I have somebody come in on a medication, we don't yank them off of it. We simply let them get better underneath it. And then as their symptoms start to go away, or we've had multiple people these last couple weeks where we've gotten them, they have taken themselves off of thyroid medications. And they actually realized that a lot of their negative symptoms, not just hyperthyroid type symptoms, but all sorts of symptoms were from the thyroid medication. And if I were to test out if a thyroid medication were causing me problems, I would first cut my dose in half if I were doing that. So that's one of the ways that I would deal with that. Just to test it. If it doesn't work, I would just go back up to my old dose. So, oh, Joe, do we need some help to find it? Anyway, so there's so the probiotics, if the yogurt's helping, if a tablespoon of yogurt's helping, fine. If you're having a couple of, what did you say, about 1,000 IUs of eggs or butter, and that's helping. So all I'd say, Oscar, is you just keep going. Do what you're doing. As you feel like you are able to, you're going to reduce the high vitamin A foods. You know, whether it's a yolk here or there, or whether it's, you know, a tablespoon of butter here or there, just slowly move them out. And that's how we do this. So find the type of meats that do you the best. You know, dark meat chicken would be kind of a bridge between white meat and red meat. Dark meat has more zinc in it than white meat. So you'd have that. You could, the rice, just make sure you're getting good rice and you're prepping it right, and you're not getting, you know, a bunch of arsenic from that. Zinc and selenium and molybdenum, whatever you choose to do with those. But yeah, I do like that it's stopping the diarrhea issues. And I, if you haven't joined the Love Your Liver program, I mean, if you want to get a lot more advice, that's where it would be. That if you don't know the link for that, it's members.nutritiondetective.com. Let me go finish my floosh. Susan asked, does anyone know if inositol hexanicotinate is okay? It metabolizes nicotinic acid, but slowly as the inositol is removed. It's probably fine. But inositol, just so people know, inositol can cause funky copper detox symptoms in some people. Anything inositol binds to copper. Gosh, how does inositol help in PCOS, Dr. Smith? Because it binds to copper. Copper toxicity is the main root of PCOS. I have a whole PCOS show if you'd like to watch it. So that's what inositol does. Funny thing. Well, so I'm going to do a whole show. I think I was actually, today's subject, until I decided on the testimonials, was going to be inositol and theanine and metformin, and how the thing they all have in common as to how they help is they bind to copper. That's what they do. It's in the research. If you still think copper is good for you, good luck with that, folks. Good luck. So let's keep going. So that was Steve's. Oh, yeah. And then he says, so he started pouring out toxins through the skin on his hands, the eczema, and he says it won't be forever and it is improving. So yeah, he dumped too hard. He triggered something. As somebody's going to talk about later, he's 3 years in. One thing I'm getting kind of frustrated with is there is a term that I started using, and just anyway, somebody on a social media website the other day brought up a statement that I didn't create toxic bile theory. I thought this was about the most humorous thing I've ever seen. So when you hear toxic bile theory, we were actually going back in my videos, and it was back in about 2021 was where I first started talking about toxic bile and cholestasis. So yeah, so nobody else did this. Anthony Mawson would say that if I were to mention toxic bile theory to him, he'd be like, what do you mean? Anthony Mawson talked about retinoids and retinoic acid leaking into the bloodstream and causing problems. Well, cholestasis is oh yeah, you could do that one, Joe. Joe's going to post the podcast I did with Wardy Harmon about gut stuff. So yeah, that would work. I know I did a show on SIBO. Here, let me just see if I can find it real quick. There it is. Here you go, Joe. I'll put it in Telegram. There you go. Okay. So yeah, it's number 121 is the SIBO episode. Okay. So we got 2 shows for you if you're on gut stuff. But yeah. And so just on this thing, okay, so one of the other concepts that I came up with, including toxic bile theory, I did not appreciate it being said that somehow it being implied that I somehow stole toxic bile theory from someone else. If anything, like the Ray Peat Forum has tried to co-opt toxic bile theory from me. Even going so far as copying the supplements I use. Pretty nasty behavior, in my opinion. Anyway, there's a concept we call cracking open the liver, which is the idea. So as you're seeing with what Steve said, exactly what Steve said here, at some point of improvement, the liver will start making a lot more bile, regardless of what you do. As we get the liver healthier, it's going to make more bile. It just is. And there seems to be a point where it, quote unquote, cracks open. I don't encourage, people are doing this. Like, let's say Oscar is going along and he's like, I don't feel good. And he's like, let's say 6 months in. I don't know how long Oscar's in, but let's say he's 6 months in. This is not happening to people at 6 months, folks. This is years in. But anyway, when the liver, if this happens, what do we do to fix it? We do the same things we always do. We do things, if you're dumping too much bile, we slow down and reduce the things that are likely causing the excessive bile dumping that we have control over. If your liver has decided to do this because it is so desperate to get rid of the toxic bile, and it's going to do it whether you like it or not, it just does. And then what are we trying to do? We're trying to just not make it worse. It goes away. And as you're seeing with Steve, so, I mean, just listen to this. Niacin did something powerful to my body. It was part of the trigger, but it was also time, year 3. Niacin did something powerful to my body that I couldn't undo even if I stopped niacin. And I started pouring out toxins through the skin on my hands. Liver couldn't handle it. Kidneys couldn't handle it. Severe eczema, but I can tell this won't be forever, and it is improving. So he's detoxing a little faster than he'd like. Possibly crack. And I don't ever diagnose anybody or tell anybody, your liver cracked open. It's more like, this might be it. And then what we do know is once it resolves on its own and all these problems go away, that's probably what it is. Some of this stuff we see in hindsight. And then he says, so niacin triggered something, but he says, I can feel that niacin has greatly sped up the rate that my most nagging chronic problems are fading. This is where especially low IQ people cannot handle the work that we're doing. They cannot handle that something could get worse as the majority of things are getting better. They cannot intellectually handle that. I'm sorry for those folks. That means you're going to be stuck being sick forever because you want immediate improvements and only improvements. Life is not that way. 2,500 milligrams of niacin is about a teaspoon. I take around 2,500 milligrams a day myself. And if any of you out there then assume, as in make an ass out of you and me, that because I'm taking 2,500 milligrams, that is the dose you should take, and then you don't like it, that is your fault. If you have not read Kelsey's niacin articles in the Love Your Liver program, and you decide to go out and experiment with this stuff on your own, and it bites you in the ass because you don't know what to do, that is not my fault. Lots of people doing the Love Your Liver program are only on about 100 milligrams a day. If you have real issues with flush niacin at low doses, you are still very toxic. That's just the way it is. You don't try to blow out the engine by revving it real hard and taking as much niacin as you can and making your life heck and then blaming it on other people. Okay? These are all very important things. So I like to go through these testimonials because it gives us real world examples. So VM, let's go through this next testimonial. Not sure if these insights could be considered unlocking the liver. That's what I mean, cracking open the liver. That's the term I use, but she said it as unlocking the liver. It's the same thing. But I went through a phase last fall, where my glucose and cholesterol levels went higher than they had ever been in my life. Have you watched my diabetes episode? Seen how diabetics have twice as much bile in their blood as controls? So if, let's say, she cracked her liver open. Oh, and let's look at this. Wait. She started the program 5.5 years ago. This person started the vitamin A detox when I started it. She has been with me longer than 5.5 years. So she started dumping toxic bile. Her glucose went up. Diabetics have twice as much bile in their blood. So if she's dumping a bunch of bile and it's leaking, that's it. Cholesterol levels, high cholesterol levels are toxicity. That doesn't mean low cholesterol levels automatically mean you're not toxic. Just like low vitamin A levels in the blood do not mean you're not toxic. So anyway, her glucose and cholesterol levels went higher than they had ever been in her life. Then I started doing daily water enemas in December 2023 and introduced daily, she has real issues with constipation, okay? And she introduced daily nicotinic acid enemas in January 2024. There are nicotinic acid enema recipes in the Love Your Liver program written by Kelsey. Within a few months, spring of this year, my glucose and cholesterol levels dropped and have since normalized. And according to the last blood test, I am now at 17 for vitamin A or serum retinol. Yay. She's deficient. Oh no, we should all freak out. Go watch the diabetes episode if you haven't watched it yet. I do not typically have skin issues except for cherry angiomas and dry skin, especially on the lower legs. I use the severity of the dry skin to monitor when I need to take steps to reduce my detoxing. This person and I have been going over this issue for a very long time. It is those of you out there who haven't figured this out yet, and some of you have, is you will have very distinct indicators for you of when you are pushing too hard. Mine is a stiff lower back. I know I'm pushing too hard when I get a stiff lower back. Some of you may have that same symptom. She has this, she used to call it, it's not as bad anymore. She used to call it her reptile skin. And when she'd try something new or a new approach or something else would happen and her reptile skin came back, she knew she was pushing too hard. And all she had to do was back off on it and it would go away. Like it can be as like an on and off switch. Some of you know this. I came into this program 5.5 years ago with chronic constipation. That's what the enemas were for. So that I will most likely be that will most likely be the last symptom to resolve. A pleasant surprise this year. Pay attention for all you need vitamin A for your eyes, folks. A pleasant surprise this year. Remember, she's technically deficient. Serum retinol below 20 is basically, that's the standard for deficiency, as if that exists. A pleasant surprise this year is that I no longer need eyeglasses for distance. I still experience wonder at how crisp, clear, and beautiful the leaves are on the trees, even at a distance. I catch myself reaching up to check that I am not wearing eyeglasses. LOL. And people are out there making shows saying that we're all wrong. People are giving up their glasses. 5.5 years. It's a marathon, not a sprint, folks. If you're coming in here and you want all your problems to be gone in a month or 3 months or 6 months, you're not listening. This is a lifestyle. This is a life change. We are fixing your deepest problems if you do things right, if you are patient and not greedy. Okay? So, what else was I going to say on that? Chronic constipation is your bile's not going into your bowels, so you're not pooping. Bile is part of the trigger for you to poop. So if your bile is leaking into your bloodstream and not going into your bowels, that's called intrahepatic cholestasis, then you get symptoms and you don't poop. So we do need bile in our intestines. It helps prevent SIBO, and it's your trigger to poop. So if you're chronically constipated, you're not making as much bile and it's not getting into your poop. You may be making enough bile. We don't know how much you're making, but it's not going into your bowels, or it's leaking out of your bowels because you're not pooping. So here we go. Another one. Oh, this is the lab confirmed repair of hyperthyroid I talked about on Twitter the other day. Okay. Now this is one of those like results not typical kind of things. Let me pull up. Okay, there we go. So, just a quick testimonial about my thyroid lab since being on Love Your Liver for only 6 months. So this is, she is working with Nathan and I. She is a consult client. After being hypothyroid for almost 4 decades, so low thyroid for almost 4 decades, the last 2 years, my thyroid lab showed that I changed from being hypothyroid to hyperthyroid. And we're going to go over the labs. So she's only been with me for 6 months with us. The last 2 years. So we have 4 decades of hypo. 2 years, her thyroid lab showed that she changed from being hypothyroid to hyperthyroid, as in they measured TSH. We know TSH is not great, but her doctor is diagnosing her with hyperthyroid. That's all they need. And yet no doctor could answer why this change happened or how to fix it. I could. I did. Since my TSH showed me being hyperthyroid now, well, that was before, my endocrinologist in 2023 suggested I have a nuclear scan of my thyroid done. At the time, I told him I would think about it, but I knew I didn't want it done. In 2024, when my endocrinologist retested my TSH again during my annual exam, and it still showed I was hyperthyroid, he again highly suggested I have the nuclear scan done. I said that I didn't understand how I could be hyperthyroid, as I did not have a single symptom of being hyperthyroid, and that I was more concerned about having a radioactive substance injected into me. I'm going to keep going. I'll come back to that. He continued to press the issue and told me what would happen to me if I didn't treat the hyperthyroid. They're going to nuke your thyroid is what they're going to do. This was all a very stressful time. Once again, I told him I would think about it. Okay, so think about this, folks. She has no symptoms of hyper. I don't remember if she still had symptoms of hypo. I don't recall everybody's symptoms at all times. We have people getting better, so it's really hard to keep track of what symptoms actually people still have, right? When you're getting them all better. So they're gonna inject radioactive substances in her tracers and all that stuff. And that can, if you haven't seen the side effects and the problems that contrast agents can cause, yeah, we don't want to put these things in our body if we don't have to. And if this woman was not interested in their treatments for her thyroid, why was she going to go get it analyzed? So at that time, I reached out to Dr. Smith in the office hours, because anyone who does a consult package, whether it's with Nathan or Hope or Kelsey or me, gets access to me in the office hours. So even if you don't do a consult with me to get your initial or your follow-up labs checked over, you can do troubleshooting with me in the consult packages. This is very important to understand. And it was suggested to continue following the Love Your Liver program along with the supplements recommended. And it was also explained to me as to how I could change from hypothyroid to hyperthyroid. Boy, am I glad I listened to your advice, Dr. Smith. After 6 months of being on the Love Your Liver program and working with me, my thyroid labs are in the normal range. Her TSH came back up to normal. My endocrinologist left a message for me that no nuclear scan is required at this time. I am beyond thrilled and excited to have found the Love Your Liver program and look forward to reaping all its amazing benefits. So let's go over the labs just to confirm. Okay, which one was the first one? I don't remember. Here, let's zoom in. Oh, wait, I need to scroll up. There we go. Well, I'll tell you the numbers. I'll do the best I can to, you'll see them. Okay, so this is normal. Let's go back to 5. Okay. So, I'm going to go through just not all the labs, but I'm going to hit on some of these. Like, I know there's people out there who obsess on, well, the thyroid's affected by your cortisol levels and your cortisol levels are affected by your thyroid. And I just say, why don't we just fix it all at once? They're all connected. They'll say that the thyroid's connected to your adrenals and your adrenals are connected to your thyroid. And I'm like, duh. It's all connected. Why don't we fix the root cause of all of it? So anyway, here's her cortisol blood test. Yeah, she's in the normal range. Okay, great. Let me zoom in on this one. So actually, let me look at the date. What is the date on this one? Oh, it looks like 2023. That's July. So that was a year ago. Okay, basically. There we go. And we'll come in. TSH 0.011, which is low. If you see it right up here. 0.011, it's marked as bold low. She had another one right there. Previous result and date. So from 2022, she was 0.876. So she was on her way down. Okay. Let me tell you guys something. This is how healing goes. Conventional medicine and even most alternative practitioners have no idea of how this works because they're not. We're actually healing stuff, root cause stuff. When some people, when hyperthyroid happens, it's nearly always so they were normal, and when they go hyperthyroid, it goes hyperthyroid. And then if hyperthyroid goes on long enough, it turns into hypothyroid. Okay, some people just go straight to hypothyroid. Most people just go straight to hypothyroid, low thyroid. Okay, that's most people, 90%, 95%, whatever you want to call it. Hyperthyroid is fairly, it's not anywhere near as common as hypo. We'll just put it that way. Okay, so imagine this. She was healthy. Whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. She was normal. Then she goes hyperthyroid. Or sorry, the normal thing is hyperthyroid. So this is not her. I'm not saying, no, I'm sorry. Let me put this back. The model, normal, hypo. So if we were healing her thyroid and she was hypo, does it make sense that she could go back through hyper and then back to normal? The process of disease, normal, hyper, hypo. The process of repairing, hypo to hyper to normal. Let's say she had this problem in the past, but she wasn't monitoring her thyroid at that time. So she never saw this happen initially. Okay? She just never knew it happened. So this is where she's hyperthyroid, technically. That's all they care about. Even though they did a free T4, she's a little on the high side of this normal range, right? 1.62, the high end is 1.77. So she's pushing towards she's high normal, according to their ranges, which their ranges suck. But anyway, there's the TSH. Oh, another cortisol test. She's normal. Let's go into here. So this is April 2024. So this is only 4 months ago. TSH, still low. Still hyperthyroid. Free T4, still in the quote-unquote normal range. Okay. 4 months ago. Now, here is her most recent labs. Wait, let me look at the date on this one. It was, this was less than 2 weeks ago. August 2nd, 2024. Thyroid hormone back in range, or TSH back in range. Okay. No autoimmune. Hyperthyroid is always autoimmune. Hyperthyroid, always autoimmune. No autoimmunity here. No autoimmunity here. This is what we do. So there's that. So I'm going to make a post on Twitter about that one. Another lab proof. We already have another post on, I'm sure if you searched my timeline on Twitter for lab proof, you would find the other hypothyroid person that we fixed with lab proof. We're putting out lab proof of fixing thyroids, not putting you on medications and managing your medications for the rest of your life going, oh, your thyroid's just broken. Sorry. No, we're fixing it. It's crazy that there's haters out here on this with what we're doing. Okay, so next one, a Twitter post. Okay. So, I don't know how to make this a white background. Anyway, here, let me put the link in the chat. Okay, so this is Shayna. Shayna is a huge fan of the Love Your Liver program. So here she goes. I had my 6-month, and these are public testimonials. I had my 6-month weigh-in with my trainer this week. I'm down 5% body fat and lost 16 total inches. The low vitamin A diet will be the diet of the century. It's time to get back to the basics. And then she put an emoji of a steak and beans. And here's her picture from, I'm guessing it was 6 months ago. And there's her picture now. She also posted some swimsuit pictures a while back. So she is very proud of herself, and she deserves to be. And she is a huge fan of this work. So, oh wait, here. Let me find her other. Here it is. This was the other thing she posted. Yes. So it's she's at internet culture, but the E here in the net is a 3. Okay. So here she put before vitamin A toxicity and after a low vitamin A diet, lost 25 pounds in 4 months with a good diet and fitness program. This wouldn't be possible without the people who have helped her on her health journey. So there was a previous picture, and there's her current picture. She's very proud of herself, and she deserves to be. So anyway, there's that one. Okay. And I do not, okay, here's an important thing. I do not market as weight loss. I am here to help people with health recovery. Then if you are overweight, your overweight could be linked to all sorts of things. Toxicity and deficiency are likely towards the top of that list, and they may be part of what is keeping you there. Or if you really try to lose weight and you've tried everything except this, you're probably toxic, and that's why you can't lose weight. Now, I do not completely discount the idea of calories in, calories out. I think throwing that completely out the window is a bad idea, because let me give you my example. I went to about 3 years of vitamin A detox, 3.5 years, and I got rid of all my major health issues. And I was still sitting there going, there was people on the program who were losing weight, especially ladies. Ladies, you store more fat in your toxins. You're better at making body fat, and you don't make as much bile as men. So your detox goes slower and you store more toxins. And then, oh my gosh, most of you are using all sorts of cosmetic crap. I just posted a paper on Twitter today that nail polish toxins were showing up in people's blood after 24 hours, just like sunscreen. So you put sunscreen on your skin, it goes in your blood. You put nail polish on your nails, it goes in your blood. If you're putting crap on your skin that you wouldn't eat, you are putting it in your body. I don't want to hear any excuses about, well, I have to do this for how I look. That doesn't matter to me. You can choose to do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. There are consequences of choices. Choices have consequences. Actions have consequences. You put toxins on yourself, your body stores toxins in fat. You make more fat to store more toxins, and there we go. I cannot change this. I can tell you about it so you can make choices. That's what I do. We want people here who make the choices, the hard choices that get them what they want. God helps those who help themselves. So I don't want to market weight loss because I do not want the people who only come for weight loss. Anybody, I was a personal trainer before this, so believe me, I know about people who are coming just for weight loss. I don't want that. That does not fulfill me. The weight loss is secondary. And what I did, so I'm sorry, I was saying before, I was about 3.5 years in on my own program, and I hadn't lost the weight that I wanted to lose. And I was kind of going, when is this going to happen? And then I finally went, you know what? It's kind of like if you salt your food too much and other people are like, dude, that's a crazy amount of salt. You're probably salting your food too much. What did I have a reputation of from a young age? I was the kid who was getting 2 or 3 plates. Like I just ate too much. I just ate too much. Even if it was good food, I just ate too much. So I monitored my calories. And over, I don't know how many months it was, but I lost about 20 pounds. I started walking every day, 10,000 steps. I was going to the gym like 5 days a week, and I just started not eating too much. So I do think calories in, calories out has a component of this. If you know you tend to eat more than other people, or if you think it's a possibility that you're eating too much, try eating less. This should not be mind-blowing, but it doesn't mean that everybody's overweight because they eat too much. Okay? So, let me see. Okay, Brandon had a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Brandon. I think I said I said thank you to Oscar. Yeah, Oscar, I'll see if there's any more questions from you, Oscar, or other comments that you made. I'll try to get to them. So Brandon asked, just want to say thanks for your work. Also, do you have a list of labs you order or unique ones for clinicians, or a few that some might not think about to check? We're going to start offering more lab packages on the website for people who are kind of do-it-yourselfers. And also, if you just want to order them to find out. And then there's going to be my training seminar coming up soon, my online training seminar and how we do it. It will be open to lay people. It will be open to anyone. I think anyone should have the information to be able to help themselves. Whatever you choose to do with that information after that is up to you. But the blood work that I do is very simple. And so here's the thing. A tool, the instrument is only as good as the musician who uses it, right? The musician, or the other saying goes, the poor musician blames his instrument, right? So if I give people this list of labs, which is short, and you decide to go out there and try to do things with it, I take no responsibility for your results. We look at serum retinol, blood vitamin A, serum ferritin, a marker of how much iron is stored in your liver. And if you didn't know, I have an entire episode on ferritin on the live stream. Serum copper, and preferably plasma zinc, not serum zinc. Serum zinc is acceptable, but we want plasma zinc. It's much better. So, serum retinol, serum ferritin, serum copper, plasma zinc. And then we do a hair test. And we get to see zinc and copper and iron on both blood tests and hair tests. Those are the tests that I'm getting people better with. If somebody wanted to get the most comprehensive vitamin A testing they could do, well, that would be serum retinol, retinol binding protein, beta carotene. That's really what is available. I mean serum retinol binding protein. You might be able to get urine retinol binding protein, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. So there are things that you can look at. I used to get serum bile acids, fractionated bile acids. I did that for a little bit, and then I realized that here's the key thing about other labs. So if somebody wants to go out and get liver enzymes and, AST, ALT, GGT, and lactate dehydrogenase and alkaline phosphatase and bilirubin and serum bile acids and fractionated bile acids and do all these things, and they come up out of range. Does that change anything I do for them? Does that change any of my recommendations? Doesn't change a single thing. Whether they're better or worse, you still do the concepts and principles. So if somebody wants to spend a bunch of extra money on a bunch of extra labs because you're a data geek or you just want more data, I don't know. You can. It doesn't change what we do. So what I do here, because I actually care. So I'm not like, let's say, a functional medicine doctor who's going to run $800 of labs on a person, and the doctor pays $200 or $300 for all those labs, and they collect $500 or $600 on you running those labs. And then they look at the labs and they just give you supplements to try to move your labs around, and you come back in a month or 3 months and they run all those labs again. And maybe the labs look better, maybe they don't. But a lot of times with functional medicine, the people come back and they're like, I don't feel anything. I took like 6 different supplements a day and nothing changed. And the doctor's like, but your labs look better. And I mean, honestly, as a client of that person or a patient of that person, you should be like, so freaking what? As one, I went to a seminar once, and the guy was saying, you want to absolutely know, like, you can do all these when you sign into the doctors and you fill out all your problems and they hardly look at it, right? But you can go and, you ask the person, what do you want me to help you fix? Isn't that the most important question? It'd be like, if you go to the mechanic with your broken car, I want my car to run. Like, the person's just like, I want my car to run. And the mechanic says, tell me what it's doing. This is like the practitioner saying, okay, you're here. So if you come to a practitioner, the practitioner knows something doesn't feel good. Okay, we can assume that. So then you say, okay, so what sounds, or what is the engine? What's the engine doing? What's the steering doing? What are the sounds? What are the smells? What is going on that can tell me where to start looking to fix the problem that is your broken car? So the symptoms do give us an insight, but the cause in toxic bile theory is concepts and principles. So if you saw a bunch of bile in the blood, what do we do in toxic bile theory? We do the same things as we do if there was not a lot of bile in the blood. If we see tons of bilirubin in the blood, we do the same things as if we saw normal bilirubin in the blood. So you can run labs all you want. I don't want to run labs unless the outcome of those labs is going to change what I do. And even still, I don't need a serum retinol to get anybody better. Do I know that as people's serum retinol goes down over time that they get better? Yes. Do I need to see their serum retinol to know that they're getting better? Did I need to see any of those people's serum retinol in the Love Your Liver program to get them better? No. I don't think I've ever talked to Shayna. Did I need to know her serum retinol to get her better? No. Has she even ever measured a serum retinol? I don't know, and it doesn't matter. You have less retinol and vitamin A of all types in your system. the better you'll get. So that's Shayna. And then let me get this other super chat. Jay said, thank you, Jay. I hope that answers it, Brandon. He says, hello, I just discovered you on X. I suffer with Crohn's and bile acid malabsorption. Do you have a program or advice for my situation? Thank you. Joe, Jay, I actually posted, I think Joe posted up higher in the chat. I'll post it again down at the bottom. We have my episode on, and then Joe, could you post the Warty show again? Maybe in the chat. Yeah, I have a show on SIBO and Crohn's and colitis, and then I also did a show with Warty Harmon about digestive issues and how it does it. So that's Shayna. Let's go into Val. Okay, this is a long one. We have a bit to read. Actually, let me open up this in a new tab. Let's check and make sure that, oh no. Let's go open up, hold on. There we go, okay. So here we go, Val Zimmer 2 posted this, he's a big fan too. Titled Vitamin A, Cholesterol, LDL, and Chronic Kidney Disease, My Journey. First of all, we need to stop calling this molecule vitamin A. It is no doubt a very serious toxin with no use in any human or animal. It is poison A. Grant Genereux has been aggressively avoiding vitamin A for 10 years. He is severely deficient, almost zero. He went over this in his 10-year update. They don't measure to zero. They measure to below lab detection limits. But everything regarding his health is great. NutriDetect has been aggressively avoiding vitamin A for around 7 years. It's actually 6. He is severely deficient, but getting healthier every day. More and more are following this diet and fixing long-term health problems. I'm going to do I'm going to get my set of labs here. I need to get them done. I'm like okay, sometimes, as they say, doctor, heal thyself. I'm like the mechanic who has their car's broken in their driveway. Like, they don't take care of their own car. They take care of everybody else's car, but they don't do theirs. That I haven't done my labs. My journey, I was not sick. At least I didn't think I was, but for, quote, longevity, I went to high fat after reading people like Dave Asprey. Yeah, I'm going to roll my eyes. Yeah, I'm sure Val's rolling his eyes now. And Mercola's, quote, fat for fuel. If you didn't know, Mercola's doing like PD stuff now. So that'll kick his ass too. Anyway, some of these paleo gurus say that diet should be 70 to 80% fat. I was trying that probably for 4 years or so. 4 years of high fat. Folks, humans have never been designed for a high-fat diet. And just because you want to bring up the Inuit, that's like called a Naxalt argument. Not all X are like that. The Inuit are not known for longevity either. So, bacon, eggs, and coconut oil every day. That sounds paleo. Lots of salmon, sweet potatoes with tons of butter, fatty pork, etc. I took cod liver oil most days. Oh, and I had my bitter greens as well, cooked in more fat. This is how Val got to where he was. Pork, vitamin A. What is coconut? I just did a post on Twitter today. Fat. To absorb vitamin A from your diet, you need fats. To store vitamin A in the liver, you need fats. So what would be the best way to get the most vitamin A into your system and stored? Eat your vitamin A with lots of fats. It's very simple. There is no doubt that this diet would have eventually made me very sick and maybe dead. I'm not joking. Luckily, I did other things right, such as lots of sun with no sunscreen, sauna, red light, grounding, exercising, and always active. As he's saying, he was lucky he was doing these things. Yes. What is the saying I'm going to use now? The poison always wins. He was doing lots of good things. The poison always wins. So let's keep going. Maybe that allowed my body to detox as I was intoxing, but no doubt I was losing the battle. My detox could not keep up. The poison always wins. I wasn't very sick, but I could feel I was on the wrong path. I was losing weight and losing energy and seemed to be very angry. Had a spot of eczema as well. Liver. All you angry haters out there that I make you so angry, your liver sucks. However you got here, doesn't matter. If you're angry all the time and frustrated all the time, your liver sucks. All of our livers suck if we have health problems. It is the way it is. Doesn't come out in everybody as anger. Some people it does, especially men. Women, it probably comes out more as depression. As you can see on the chart below, this high-fat diet resulted in high cholesterol and high blood retinol. The first date of February 12th, 2020 is when I stopped the high-fat diet. So let's go look. Let's go look. So here we have 2020. So he stopped at when? He stopped the high-fat diet 2/12/20. So the very first thing here. So we got total cholesterol 222, LDL's 138, serum retinol, vitamin A 50. That's significant. Okay. Oh, sorry. I got to share this. Sorry. There we go. Here it is. This is the row we're looking at. This is when he stopped the high-fat diet. So it had been high-fat all the way up until this. So we got, I don't know if this is plasma or serum zinc. Fasting glucose 103, vitamin A to LDL ratio. So we would like that to be, well, I don't really use that. I've never done that. Vitamin A, we got LDL. Okay. The bad cholesterol. If you did not know, vitamin A is inside of LDL. I think Mike Roberto just posted today that beta carotene is inside of LDL. What a weird thing that LDL is the lousy cholesterol or the bad cholesterol, and it's got vitamin A in it. Weird, right? Okay, so let's keep going. I did not know about vitamin A yet. I stopped the bacon, eggs, salmon, cod liver oil, etc. Did I put this link in there yet? No. Let me put this in there. I stopped the bacon, eggs, salmon, cod liver oil, etc. I went low fat, high carb. So that did cut out many high vitamin A foods. I added oats, beans, and fruit. Some of this fruit was high in carotenoids, though, like watermelon and pineapple. Remember, he didn't know about vitamin A at this time. I also drank raw goat milk and ate lots of cheese. 16 months later, although I was feeling better with more energy, my numbers were worse. LDL was 160, retinol was 61. So, hold on one second. Hold on. I have to deal with, this is live. I got to deal with, okay. So I want you to pay attention to something here. Notice how he didn't, other than cod liver oil, which is a vitamin A supplement, he does not mention anything about vitamin A supplements. This is all food vitamin A. And some people consider cod liver oil food vitamin A. It is fatty liver, it's fish fatty liver juice, right? If you juice a fruit to get juice out of it, right? What do they do to get cod liver oil out of cod livers? They juice it. So you're drinking fatty oil, fatty liver juice from a cod. Delicious. I did it too. I think I went through one bottle of that fermented, nasty ass stuff. I did the other stuff. Okay. So 16 months later, vitamin A still went up. It accumulates. December 2022, I found Dr. Smith. I'm NutriDetect. That's me. Joined his Love Your Liver program, and since then have been aggressively avoiding this poison A. Now, just so you know, I would call it poison A. I think I did that for a little while, but I knew that this movement couldn't happen if I used a term that nobody used, right? Kind of hard to get people to search and find it if you use a term that nobody uses. So would I call it this? Yeah, toxin A, poison A. I would absolutely call it that, but it's just not going to work yet. I'm not as strict as Grant, but pretty darn strict. Oats, apples, bananas, white grapes, red meat, a little chicken or turkey, beans, barley, a little rice, hummus, cucumbers, root veggies like parsnips, turnips, sometimes white potatoes. If somebody's going to tell me that this diet is deficient in anything, y'all can go jump off a short pier, really. Take a long walk off a short pier. This is not a bad diet in any way, other than it's low in vitamin A, which is good. About 9 months later, my poison A level came down to 40, which was very exciting. And notice the cholesterol and LDL, those came down as well. There is no doubt that LDL is related to retinol level. Grant Genereux said a long time ago that he thought LDL was another way to potentially measure vitamin A toxicity in the body. Do I believe that that is true? Yes. Does it change anything we do with that information? No. So do I run it? No, because it doesn't change anything I do. I don't need to go spend people's money. I don't need to spend people's money just to have a bunch of labs in front of them to say, this is bad, 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 this is bad. I have them watch their symptoms. Because what do they want to feel? Like, I mean, if you really want to have wonderful looking labs and feel like crap, I mean, you can do that. I would rather have people feel wonderful and their labs may not look great, but if they keep doing the right things, then over time their labs look great. Okay, so let's look at this one now. So this was where he was still doing a bunch of vitamin A. He had changed his diet. Total cholesterol went up on paleo-ish, type stuff. LDL went up. Vitamin A went up. Wow, lots of fat. Well, he was doing lots of fat here, and then he was doing less here, but he was still doing plenty of vitamin A and still plenty of fat. Keep forgetting to switch between these tabs. Glucose came down a bit. Zinc dropped. Okay. So then we have here, this is after he started working with me. No, the Love Your Liver program, I should say. Cholesterol below 200, LDL down, vitamin A down. Like I said, I don't use this ratio for anything. Fasting glucose slightly down, zinc back up. Okay. Let's see. We were down here. Let me make this a little bigger. Maybe we can use LDL as a surrogate for vitamin A. I think it's a decent surrogate, but it's not that, again, it doesn't change what we do. I divided vitamin A by LDL to get a ratio. Others can confirm this and comment, but maybe multiply your LDL by 0.39 to 0.40 to get an estimate of your poison A level. Okay, so yeah, just a surrogate number. The ratio is going higher as I'm getting healthier, so we'll see if the ratio holds. Just something to look into. Let me just look at that real quick. Wait a second. There it is. Let's get back to this. I don't know. The vitamin A to LDL ratio, wait, what was he doing? He was doing vitamin A to LDL. So he was thinking maybe you could use this. But see, this is changing. I don't know. I think the LDL number changes faster than the vitamin A number overall. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Let's get back to the testimonial. Okay, here we are. It is hard to get rid of this toxin A. I am not cheating, but after my blood retinol dropping from 61 to 40, it has slowly crept up. This is what I call the plateau. But like many other people doing this, everything is getting better. Okay, so why do I not need a serum retinol to get anybody better? I had gotten rid of all my major health problems and my vitamin A was still at a 50 after 3.5 years. Look at his numbers. Let's go here. My vitamin A was still at a 50 after 3.5 years. I was higher than Val here. I had gotten rid of all my major health problems. Why do I not want to bang people over the head with these numbers? Because they don't change what we do. And if he's saying everything is getting better, why do I care about how much is leaking into the blood if everything's getting better? Again, a lot of low IQ mouth breathers out there can't understand this concept. They want it to be a straight line. and only positive movement. That's not life. That's not detox. I'm sorry. So, but everything's getting better. Skin, energy, mood, strength in the gym, etc. Dr. Smith has always said it takes years to become deficient, which is what we're after, right? But most feel much better even before achieving that deficiency. Val pays attention. I added my zinc level to the chart. Zinc is very important, but as Dr. Smith says, you can overdo it. I'm really liking the way I feel at 117 zinc, though. So that was, we just read this part. Sorry, I forgot to switch it. Switching back and forth between these two screens, I keep forgetting to do it. Now for the most important part of my journey. I did not know what EGFR was until it was flagged on a blood test. EGFR is the estimated glomerular filtration rate. It is a marker of kidney health. On 8/22/23, my EGFR was 58. Anything lower than 59 is stage 3A kidney disease. Holy shit, I had moderate kidney disease, no doubt caused by my high poison A diet. So some people out there are going to be like, no, the low vitamin A diet gave you this. Well, I'm sure we're going to see what happens with this. Okay. This was 8 months after starting the low retinol or low vitamin A diet, showing that things take time to heal. Yes, Grant's chronic kidney disease did not go away for a while. Okay. On 3/4/24, that's March, EGFR was 70. So in 7 months, I went from stage 3A kidney disease to stage 2, which is mild kidney disease. On 7/26/24, so that was just last month, July, my EGFR is now 79. Stage 2 kidney function range is 60 to 89. I'm hoping by the next blood test, I'll be stage 1, which is normal and no kidney damage. Grant fixed his chronic kidney disease as well. Anyone with kidney disease should immediately contact moi. A low vitamin A diet can likely reverse it. I talked earlier about your kidneys do not like toxic bile. Vitamin A toxicity is one reason why you have toxic leaky bile going to your kidneys. So we can fix both problems because they are both interrelated. Okay. I joined Dr. Smith's Love Your Liver program for around $100, I think. Yes. And I have purchased hundreds of dollars of supplements and will continue to purchase from him. Who got the better deal? Sure, Dr. Smith made a little money, but following his program reversed my kidney disease and maybe saved me from an early death. How much is that worth? To me, it's priceless. I will be forever grateful, sir. Well, you are forever. You're welcome, Val. I'm happy to be doing this. I was put here to do this, as I've started to say on Twitter too. But this is why capitalism is great. Both sides go away from the transaction thinking they got the better deal. Both sides are happy. Well, I mean, I'm sitting here with goosebumps. So, I mean, somebody fixes their problem on their own. See, the cool thing here is, folks, I'm teaching people how to have agency and get their health back. And so you, as the person getting your health back, I mean, the word empowerment has been used so much that it's just garbage. But is this not like the greatest form of empowerment that we could do for somebody else? Right? I mean, giving them the power to fix their health, be healthy for themselves and their family and their friends, and then potentially be the leader who the friends then follow and they gain their health back too. So I just, I'm doing this because this is what I was put here to do. And it is nice to make a living, doing something and food in my family's mouths and all that stuff. My take on fiber. Dr. Smith advocates fiber as fiber is needed to bind to the toxic bile and to get it out of the body in the feces. I have done good on fiber. I love oats in the morning. My go-to meal is beans, barley, and red meat, although I have reduced the beans a bit to add a bit more red meat. I have no issue with fiber and will continue. So I always talk about soluble fiber, especially, is individually dosed, and the dose can change based on your healing status. Okay. The other side of the coin is the strictly carnivore people. Many carnivores like Sean Baker, MD, and the Power of Ozone advocate no fiber and seem to also be doing very well. Well, one of those people is very, very angry and is eating, last I saw, lots of pork. So good luck to them. They and others have said fiber did not work for them. I've said this before. In Grant's latest update, he said some had a problem with black beans. Okay. Like do I tell people like, oh, you try this bean, you don't get along with it? Don't eat it. Try a different one. I say this with potassium types. People try one form of potassium. It doesn't get along with them. Try another one. Like, this is the funny thing about when people try to like, they try one thing I say and then they go, well, that didn't work for me. Your whole program doesn't work. And I'm like, do you have a problem reading comprehension? Because I always say if something doesn't, doc, it hurts when I do this, then don't do that. It is hilarious, the attacks that people are trying to do to this. So Val gets it, and he's trying to show both sides here. So he says, this is just something that we each have to figure out. Yes, he gets it. This is something that we each have to figure out. I do think fiber is needed, but maybe less than we think, or maybe less after your liver gets a little healthier. Yes, because you start making more and more bile. You can trigger bile dumping with too much soluble fiber. Dr. Smith says, Dr. Smith can help you figure it out, though. He says that if it hurts when you do something, well, then don't do it. For me, I'm sticking with the diet mentioned earlier. Things have been going in the right direction for the past year and 8 months. And in the last few months, the trend to increased health seems to be increasing, accelerating, if you will. I hope this post motivates people to take charge of their own health. Vitamin A is 100% a toxin. Follow these accounts for more on low vitamin A. Okay, let's get moving. That was his labs. So he has his labs attached to that post. Okay, these next ones are shorter. So this is SefauygUnn, Cephoigun. I don't know. Cepha. Anyway, this is a short one. I ruined my, this is, oh, sorry. Gosh, Joe, sorry. I keep forgetting the screen. I ruined my health with the Ray Peat diet. Let me repeat that a couple times. I ruined my health with the Ray Peat diet. I ruined my health with the Ray Peat diet. I ruined my health with the Ray Peat diet as part of many things that I did. This is not uncommon. Who are the people who dislike us the most? Take a wild guess. I ruined my health with the Ray Peat diet and dozens of supplements/herbs, and I regret recommending people consume carrots, liver, excessive milk, and dairy products every day. I regret recommending people consume carrots, liver, excessive milk, and dairy products every day. I now feel great on a diet based on beans, lean meat, oats, rice, bananas, and apples. Are you all seeing a pattern here? Additionally, zeolite, selenium, nicotinic acid, and low doses of lactoferrin reactivated the detox. Simple foods, as few supplements as possible, and lifestyle advice that actually works. That actually works. The work you do is very valuable, and I am lucky to listen to your suggestions despite all prejudices. Thank you for your support. Gosh, I don't know what group might have a lot of prejudices against us. Could you take a wild guess? So anyway, there's that one. Did I put this link in there? There we go. Okay. And, oh, this is just a fun little one. Now, after using your magnesium lotion, I don't go for adjustments. Well, if that last X link didn't work, let me refresh this one. Let me see if it's gone. Oh, he took down the tweet. Maybe the Peters attacked him too much. Oh, they would never do that. They're not a bitter bunch. Anyway, okay, so that link doesn't work. That was you saw the post. It was there this morning. So after using your magnesium lotion, I don't go for adjustments. Now, I did a post on this. Oh, let me share that tab. There we go. I did a post on this morning. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't have anything against chiropractic adjustments or physical manipulation, as it's called in naturopathic medical school, or osteopathic manipulation, or cranial sacral therapy, or any of that stuff. I've used it all. I have used it all myself. Would I still use it if I had an issue that I thought I needed it for? Yes. I just quoted Dr. Steve Gadecki earlier, who is a chiropractor, who has said that when he sees people who chronically have to come in for adjustments, he says they are toxic and deficient. He now knows this. And he can usually go through their supplements and their diet, and you can see exactly why they're toxic and deficient from a chiropractor. Bones don't move on their own. Bones are moved by muscles. And then somebody's going to throw in fascia and the balance of muscles on both. No. How am I fixing chronic sacroiliitis? How am I helping people to fix their chronic sacroiliitis? How am I helping people to fix their chronic pain issues? Why does this gentleman, NC Hillbilly 49, doesn't need to go for adjustments anymore? What did we fix? What root cause of his bones moving out of place was fixed? Toxicities and deficiencies, okay? Now, I will say this. The magnesium lotion is temporarily out of stock. We are busting our butts. All the things are in the mail to the formulator to make the lotion. So don't freak out. It will not be long. But don't go bother Julie, okay? We do not have an ETA. These supplement companies, as I've said before, man, they are just, I don't know how they stay in business, honestly. It's like awful. So that was that one. Let's go to this one. Another short one. Very simple. Thank you. Your posts have changed my life. This is what we do. So, yeah, we have another one here. Or is this? Nope, that's fine. So, let's go back here. Yeah, Joe, you can take down the tab. We're all done on that one. We're all done with the testimonial. So, that's what we've got today. So, just remember again, the paid shills are going to make their YouTubes about us anyway. That's fine. They're going to do what they're going to do and bring more attention to us, please. A bad review, bad reviews by bad people, bad reviews by bad people are good reviews. All publicity is good publicity. The Streisand effect. Don't look at this and then everybody looks at it. Let them talk. If you guys want to do stuff to help the movement, here's what I'm going to suggest you do. If you go on these YouTubes or Twitter posts or wherever you are on social media and people are bad-mouthing us or this approach, this community, post your results. People want testimonials. They want anecdotes. Don't argue the science with them because there's 120 years of absolute dog shit science that you have to fight against. It's corrupt. It's garbage. It's Rockefeller. So arguing science and throwing papers back and forth is not going to get the grassroots people you want. Show them your results. Same thing if you want your family and friends to follow you doing this. Get your results. Show them. Let them notice. Hey, wow, you look great. What have you been doing? Then, oh yeah, really? Wow, thanks. That's great. I've been working hard and doing this thing where I'm avoiding vitamin A. And some of them will just be like, and they don't know what to do. And they're just like, okay, that's great. It must work for you. Your doctors are going to do that. Like, what do you think Grant's kidney doctors changed anything they do with any of their patients after Grant is the first person they had ever seen to come away from chronic kidney disease completely lab tested, no more chronic kidney disease? Do you think they changed a single thing they were doing? No. Do you think the woman who fixed her primary biliary cirrhosis in my program Do you think her hepatologist has changed anything that he's doing after that? No, he didn't change anything. They're not going to change anything until the evidence is overwhelming and they are going to hang on for dear life to what they've been doing, because for them to admit they've been poisoning people and allowing people to be poisoned with garbage science for 120 years, you just imagine what the lawsuits are going to look like. Oh, you've been fortifying our foods with vitamin A and vitamin D as rat poison? Wow. And now my health is garbage? You've been encouraging this? You understand why they cannot allow this. This is why they're paying shills to come out and attack us. That's why. And some people are just, what's the term? The idiots, the ones who just follow along. They just can't handle anybody questioning the narrative. Useful idiots. The useful idiots are going to keep questioning us because we're not mainstream. I mean, you guys have seen the masks showing up again, right? The neurotics are coming out of the woodwork. Like, they have to hang on to the mainstream, because for most people, if all of a sudden you start poking holes in the mainstream, even one for them, then their brain starts going, what else have I been lied to about? And if they can't handle the thought that maybe everything's a lie, then they have to disregard the hole that was poked. I remember my ex-wife this was 25 plus years ago. My buddy brought us an Alex Jones video about 9/11. And we watched it. And afterwards she was like, whoa, that was crazy. I can't believe this. And then she kind of believed it for a little bit. And then a little while later, she just shut that down. And it was like, everything is okay. We're not being lied to. None of that made sense anymore. And this is what people do. I've had it happen in my own life, watching it happen. So don't expect your blood to just believe you. Lead the way by example. Get yourself better. Help the people around you who want to get better to get better. Use these testimonials. Use your own testimonials. Post your testimonial under the YouTube videos. Think about this. You have some talking head going against everything we're doing, and they just keep showing papers. And people are like, they're kind of, most people, their eyes just glaze over with all the science. They just glaze over, or they're just going, yeah. Vitamin A is good. And then they come down and they read your testimonial in the YouTube comments. All of a sudden, and then maybe they see 2 testimonials. Maybe they see 3 testimonials. And all of a sudden they're like, wait, are all these people lying? That's where you're going to do the damage, folks. That's where you're going to bring people. People want, as they say in marketing, testimonials are everything. So don't go out there and waste too much of your time. I mean, I'm here to present the research. Like, what will I be remembered for in this whole process? I am the one going through the research and laying it out. Other people later will, as people are already starting to do, they're taking my stuff and they're turning it into sound bites. Okay, that's cool. Somebody had to lay the groundwork. Grant did, Anthony Mawson did, and now I have the torch. And this is how we're doing it. So I can do the research, and Mike Roberto is doing a very good job on the research. And there's a couple other guys, Chris DeVogt, and I forget his name, V, on Twitter. And Will of Europa, and there's a lot of people coming out now who are moving this further. Absolutely. But somebody had to come out and lay the real research foundation so everybody else could point back to it and go, hey, this guy showed the research. So let's look at, we have a couple more super chats and then I got to get going. Okay, Brandon asks, oh yeah, super chats, just no more super chats for today. This is, don't send any more super chats or we're gonna have to move them to next week. Okay, so Brandon Tran, another super chat. Thank you, Brandon. Are you familiar with any research connecting meibomian gland disease or dry eye disease linked to your principles? Vitamin A, D, copper, sulfur, and toxic bile theory, or topical use for eye conditions? Well, okay. A very common thing, Brandon, I'm not going to do this research here today, but if you go and you look up Accutane side effects, dry eye is like way at the top. Absolutely way at the top. Yeah. And then if we were to see, actually, is that what happens in cats? So the old Price Pottinger cat study where they cooked the cat's food and the cats got all sorts of problems, including retinol damage problems, which may be, I don't know if the problem was dry eye in cats or not, but nowadays, so cooking can damage the taurine. Cooking can break down taurine in meat. Yes. So folks, here's the deal. If some of you are freaking out going, oh my gosh, I'm breaking down the taurine in meat. How do I fix this? I need to not cook it. If you want to eat raw meat, I did it for a while. I'm still here. I eat raw lamb. I eat even raw chicken that had been soaked in lemon juice and garlic. I wouldn't use the garlic anymore, but if I wanted to soak it in lemon juice, I might still, but I'm just not going to eat raw chicken. I'm just not going to do it. It doesn't taste good. Don't like the texture. So, but anyway, they cooked the meat and the other stuff they gave the cats. The cats got taurine deficiency and they had big problems. What does taurine bind to in the eye? Taurine binds to retinaldehyde in the eye. I have the paper. If you look up taurine retinaldehyde adduct, ADDUCT, you'll find the paper on PubMed. So taurine helps protect the eyes. Taurine is in meat. Taurine, when you cook meat, if you're one of those people who is cooking everything well done, you're going to be breaking down a lot of the taurine. Generally, what I say is you want to cook meat as gently as you need to. Cooking it with, let's say, water-based methods, which is not always the most delicious, but we're talking about steaming, or even some people even boil their meat. We're talking about Instant Pot, pressure cooking. These things would take things up to a lower temperature than, let's say, grilling or pan frying or like searing on a super hot iron pan and then baking it. The outside of that's going to get if you cook it at 500 degrees, yeah, you're going to burn the crap out of the outside of it. The inside may be less done, but it is what it is. The less you can cook your meat and the lower temperatures you can cook your meat at, the more you're going to get out of it. That's just the way it is. Am I saying to go all raw? No, but if you choose to do that, you can. So, but yeah, lactoferrin is in all of your fluids of your body, including the tear fluids of your eye. Vitamin A destroys the very cells in your body that make lactoferrin. Vitamin A destroys epithelial cells, and vitamin A damages neutrophils. Those are the two things in your body that make lactoferrin. A lack of lactoferrin is likely very connected to another thing that Accutane can cause is a dry mouth, like lack of saliva. So you start making less fluids. How does Accutane help acne? People start making less skin oil. You start making less secretions with vitamin A toxicity in a lot of people. So that's the eyes, that's the saliva, that's the skin oil. You're just not detoxing as well. How do people not see this? It's like you're just not detoxing well. And then why do some Accutane users continue to get worse? Well, if you slow down your detox and you're not detoxing as well, then you become more toxic more easily. And if you don't know what's making you toxic, then it's just a bad ride. It's just going downhill. So, I don't know. I could look up aldehyde, dehyde. I mean, I can look up aldehydes. I know, like we said about retinaldehyde and taurine. I would just look up the side effects. Like, the most common side effect of of pharmaceutical medications? Take a wild guess. It's dry mouth, and I'm sure dry eye is soon after that one. So stopping secretions is a big thing with pharmaceutical medications, which is generally slowing down detox. Have I looked into very specific meibomian gland stuff? No, I'm going to guess you're not going to find much. But that the Accutane, giving it away as Accutane, one of the most common symptoms of Accutane. If you're out there in the chat and you want to post about dry eye happening from Accutane or with your vitamin A toxicity, please do. Remember, yes, being in the live chat, leaving a comment, liking the channel, subscribing, all that stuff does help. But if you want this information to get out there more, oh yeah, and then we sell Lactoferrin, yes. So make sure to read the instructions because they are very detailed. So taking Lactoferrin exogenously may help the issue. Whenever I hear eye issues, I think zinc deficiency, which would then kind of go against copper toxicity and cadmium toxicity. And yeah. I might do a search on that. It's one symptom. I tend to like to look at big diseases that present with a lot of symptoms. So, yeah. Susan asks, so thanks for that question, Brandon. Susan Stewart asks, thank you for the super chat. Is serum selenium worth checking? No. Is HTMA hair testing better? Yes. Selenium is another one we are told not to take too much of. Correct. But I do find it helps with the nicotinic acid. Selenium is necessary to, well, I'll just review this. Aldehyde dehydrogenase, what I consider the most important detox enzyme in the body. The two minerals it requires, selenium, molybdenum. The gasoline for it, the NAD plus that runs it, nicotinic acid. So, Susan, if you're finding that selenium and nicotinic acid are helping you, those could be kind of your nutritional roadblocks to running your ALDH well. And so if you get those and you start running it better, you start moving things through it faster, less of a bottleneck, and you have less symptoms. Can people get too much selenium? Yeah, I had a guy. This is the thing that, like I said, some people can't understand. I had a guy, he's doing the consult with me. He's coming to office hours and he's like, I tried the selenium. I got all sorts of symptoms. So I stopped it and they started to get better. And then I tried the molybdenum and I got all sorts of symptoms. Same symptoms. I stopped it and they all got better. How could he get the same symptoms, the exact same symptoms from different minerals? It's pushing detox too hard. He's got the same toxicity coming out. It's pushing it too hard. And he's not doing great. So I said, we're not going to mess with that anymore for a long while. Doc, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. Like if somebody ate too much fiber for a year, angry lady, and then tries to blame me and say fiber, nobody needs it and it's bad for everybody, that's just delusional and that's bad practice. A lot of the people who try to talk badly of me are not practitioners. They're just talking heads on the internet. So, yeah, selenium and nicotinic acid are critical to the ALDH enzyme. And if you're benefiting from them, then that's true. Now, just so y'all know, I do not use, the older stuff, like the old Keystone Minerals, which I'm not going to give a date, but they're almost here. And we're going to have a Keystone Minerals with some zinc niacinate in it too. So you can get some you could, depending upon how much niacin you're taking, you can get your niacin from your Keystone Minerals. So it's kind of becoming like the Love Your Liver multi. But it's only 3 or 4 things. So anyway, that is so close to getting here. I'm just want it back. And then we're going to try to keep on top of these so we don't fall behind. Just so you guys know, like when we run out of things, I started working with a supplement company that was recommended to me by somebody I did a podcast with, who I trust his recommendations, and I still do. We started working with the supplement company, and they told us that from the time we agreed to make the product to the time it would be finished, They could do it in 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. We have been trying to make a simple zinc picolinate pill with them, capsule. We are at 3.5 months. One ingredient in a pill. 3.5 months. Like, so when you're thinking that it's like somehow my fault that like we're running out of supplements, no. When they tell me 6 to 8 weeks and it's now 3.5 months and they still haven't even finished our label. This is not the incompetence rages supreme out there. It is unbelievable, the incompetence out there. A single ingredient supplement. Anyway, so that is all the super chats. Hope you all enjoyed it today. Oh, sorry. I wanted to hold on. Let me just see under there. Oscar, are you still here? Yeah, there you are. So he said, thanks, Doc. So I answered Oscar's question earlier about some other stuff. Oscar says it's so hard to know when to start adding minerals when you're already feeling bad. Okay, well, make sure if you're in the Love Your Liver program, Oscar, go through. I made this specifically for people, the order of adding stuff. It's called the order of adding stuff. It's a single small article, and it talks about the order of things to work on. And as Zen Dog Breath will tell people over and over, you start it. There's like phase 0 where it's just like, get some sunlight, like fix your hydration. Like, don't drink way too much water. Don't drink too little. Like, it's the simple things, right? And then it gets into, phase 1, which is more like gut stuff, like fix the probiotics and fiber and that stuff. And then you get into electrolytes, and then you get into the big minerals, and then you get into the other things like niacin and lactoferrin and all that stuff. And so what you can do, those of you out there who are in the program or those of you who join the program, you do the order of adding stuff. You start at the top and you address these things. And I have a thing in the program, one of the very first articles that says, fix these things first or you will not get better. It's pretty straightforward, right? Fix these things first, or you will not get better. Like, there is nothing that I can do to get somebody better if you are being actively poisoned. One of the things in there, mold in your house. Okay? Everybody talks about, how do I detox mycotoxins? How do I detox mold? Get it out of your freaking house. Yeah, maybe expensive. I can't help that. I can't help how much mold remediators cost. I can't help it. This is the reality. Like, mold is nasty, nasty, nasty shit. And if you are being poisoned by it, I cannot get you better while you are being poisoned by it. And if you try to detox it while you're still being poisoned by it, you will cause yourself more symptoms. You do not try to detox while you are still intoxing. Why do I say you need to get rid of this first before you do any of this other stuff? Like, I would tell somebody, this is the kind of practitioner I am. And this is why, like, you can, as Val said, you can talk about capitalism, but I will specifically tell people, if you don't have enough money to work with me right now, but you have mercury fillings in your mouth, you put your money towards getting those out, because I can't even get you better if they're still, we can improve you. Yes. You can always take in a less toxic diet, but we can't really start pushing detox hard until that crap is out of your freaking mouth. Does that not make sense? Right? If you're trying to drive your car with your emergency brake on, can you drive it? Sure. Is it going to ruin parts of your car? Absolutely. This should make sense. If you are putting poison in your body and trying to detox at the same time, what happens is the poisons that are coming out of your body into your blood and the poisons that you are detoxing out of your tissues and go into your blood. And then you feel worse because now you have both in coming and going toxins in your blood. We call it a detox loop. Let me give you a quick example about mold. There's a gentleman who I know. He is actually a buddy of mine. He lives in a fairly rural area like a little bit like a farm. And he was having trouble with his two boys they're on a pretty good diet. They're on a fairly low vitamin A diet, but they were gaining weight. And he comes to me and he's, texting me and he's like, what is going on? We can't figure it out. It doesn't seem like this should be happening. And so I'm giving him some things to work on. He gets his water tested because he's like, we're surrounded by all sorts of farms that are spraying and all this stuff. And he's like, and the kids go in the pool off. And I'm like, that means the pool is like full of glyphosate. It's full of all sorts of crap. And the kids were the ones gaining weight and the adults weren't. And the kids were the ones going swimming. And the pool was just filled with unfiltered well water. So we thought it might be there. He gets his water tested. He's like, they said our water was really clean. And I'm like, it's something else then. And he said, he starts telling me that he's getting like cysts under his skin. And I'm like, I know he's doing the diet real well. I'm like, there is something wrong here. And this is where like when somebody's going to try to blame the program for this, I'm like laugh at them. I said, dude, there's something wrong. There is something absolutely coming into your system and your kid's system that we haven't figured out yet. And so I didn't say like, I did not blame him. I did not blame, in a way I'm blaming myself because I'm saying there's something we haven't found yet. There is a problem. This should not be happening. This does not make sense. And when things don't make sense, look for more answers. And then he texts me and he goes, do you think it could be mold? And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, oh, we just figured out we have a mold problem and they're testing and tearing out walls. And he's like, dude, it's everywhere. He lives in Washington State. Plenty of humidity up there. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably the problem. And he's like, this is going to cost a ton of money to fix. If it's going to cost a ton of money to fix, that means there's a ton of mold. The more mold there is, dose dependent, right? The more mold there is, the more mold toxins. I said, dude, you spend your money right now trying to fix that. That is your goal. Stop intoxing before you try to start detoxing, or else if you have a lot of intoxing going on while you try to detox, things get worse. Do you see? This is like, nobody else talks about this stuff. I don't know why I was blessed with figuring these things out, but this seems to be the way it is. So did I fail him? No, we worked. This is why I work with people. We can just throw things out there and do you think it could be mold? Part of me, I love you, bro, but part of me wanted to be like, it's the first article in the program. If I put it as the first article in the program, that means it's pretty freaking important. Do these things first or I cannot get you better. Get rid of the mercury fillings in your mouth. Make sure you don't have mold in your house or in your workplace or wherever you spend a lot of time. And then if you can do something about the copper exposure you get from your water, minimize that. Seems pretty straight. It doesn't mean you have to get all the copper pipes removed from your house. First thing you can do is you can get an AquaYouth 2.0 water filter. AquaYouth 2.0 water filter. It's the only filter I've seen that has testing showing it reduces the copper in the water by 33%, by 1/3. So, you may not have the money to go get your entire house replumbed, or the copper. Everybody does copper water pipes to and from their water heater. You may have I forget the plastic, the acronym for the plastic that they're using now instead of copper water pipes. And you may have those all through your house, but there's going to be copper water pipes generally going in and out of your water heater. You're not going to get away from that. Don't be using copper water cups like these crazy influencers on the internet. The funny thing, I saw a guy talking about wearing copper the other day and I look at him and I'm like, you're an undertype. You're like severely underweight, super toxic. trying to tell people to wear copper to absorb more because all these problems are copper deficiency. If you actually looked at blood tests, there is no copper deficiency happening hardly anywhere. Oh, but it's active bioavailable copper. Okay. Funny thing, do you want to know the copper that they sell out there as being bioavailable, the supplement copper that they sell as being bioavailable? Do you know what they bound to that copper? This is going to be good. Nicotinic acid. They bound flesh niacin to copper. That's it. Wow, people are getting benefits from taking copper bound to niacin. Is it the copper or is it the niacin? People are so severely deficient in nicotinic acid that even the little bit they give them bound to copper helps them. And then these people go, oh my gosh, it's the copper. No, it's not the copper. Take some flesh niacin. So, Baptized in Fire said theanine was the best recommendation I've ever listened to. Theanine is, well, I'll show you guys the paper. It chelates copper. It grabs onto copper. Why do you think it helps with anxiety and insomnia and all these other symptoms that we associate with copper toxicity? Nobody else can give a mechanism, or they make up all these. They'll make up fancy mechanisms for metformin. They'll make up fancy mechanisms for inositol. They'll make up fancy mechanisms for theanine. It's not a fancy mechanism. It just binds to copper, protects you from copper. These are concepts and principles. They're getting in the weeds. Fancy mechanisms. People come on here and they want fancy mechanisms. We're like the 40,000 foot view. Almost everything they're measuring in people is simply secondary to the toxicities and deficiencies. So if you know the toxicities and deficiencies, you don't have to know all the mechanisms and then try to look for a single supplement that pushes this magical button or that pushes this magical button. You don't need it. So Potato Lover asks, is the Nutrition Detective website shutting down, or why the new website? The website's there. Why did we do a new website? Because our old website, you get to learn a lot of things as a businessman and as a private, as a small business owner. And a friend recommended a website developer to me, and I hired them. And they made me a website of all sorts of custom code. Enough customization to this code that people I would hire who were website people were like, I don't know how to work with this. This is completely custom code. And then the company that I had originally worked with, where I was trying to get them to make changes, well, first of all, it was going to be really, really expensive. And secondly, all of a sudden, my rep at the company died of diabetes complications. And then I tried to contact the website guy who seemed to take over for him, and he never returned my email. So then I was left with a custom coded website that nobody wanted to mess with. And the people who made it aren't there anymore. They fell apart after the guy died, it seemed like. So why is there a new website? Why would they make custom code? To keep me as a customer forever, to trap me. I don't appreciate that. I find that to be very dishonest. I didn't know they were doing that when they made it. So we did a new website, a Shopify template, so that people who are very familiar with Shopify can mess around with it all day long. Gosh, it's like I want a concept and principles, like a template and things that are easily worked with. It's almost like I want to work with people that way. Let's see, anything else? So that's about it. Apparently, yeah. Sebastian was saying died of diabetes. I mean, this guy, he was telling me about. He was like, I should get on your program, because he's sitting there and he's like, my legs are so swollen and red and they hurt when I walk. And I'm just like, I was kind of picturing how overweight this guy was and how sick he was. And, those of you who are practitioners of any sort, health, fitness, whatever, every time you talk to people almost who are not in good health or in shape or whatever, oh, I should work with you. I should do this. They're shoulding, right? They're shoulding on themselves. And as having been a personal trainer for 12 years before I've been a doctor for 18, I just nod my head, go, okay, I'm here when you need me. I'm here when you need me. You know where to reach me. Not that I'm against it. I'm just like, I'm not going to try to convince them. They just said they needed to see me. They know what they need to do. All you got to do is contact Julie. You got our emails. So, okay. Ramon, this is the last super chat. I'll give Ramon the super chat because it's a short one and Ramon's like a regular super chatter. Okay, what do carbonated drinks do to the body? Why do they say it puts a load on the kidneys and can even damage them? Thinking of sparkling waters here. Basically, it's carbonic acid, the carbon dioxide in your body, it's carbonic acid. So drinking carbonated water if you're drinking carbonated water all day, you are adding an acid load to your system all day. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying like the pH balanced diet. I've seen people break themselves on the alkaline diet, absolutely break themselves. Can you make yourself too alkaline? Yes. People could make themselves too alkaline on the loony alkaline diet, or they could make themselves too alkaline simply by taking too much baking soda. Because they think, oh, if I take baking soda, I'm never going to get cancer. Because somebody on the internet said it. Or there's this guy in Italy who's injecting cancers with baking soda and they're going away. So that means so then they interpret that as everybody should just take a bunch of baking soda every day. No, you can over-alkalize yourself. Baking soda is a drug strength alkalizing agent. Like if you want to think of sodium bicarbonate as almost like, it changes the pH. I'm not against all uses of baking soda in health, but I will tell you that for a while, I had another experiment on myself and on others where for a while I thought baking soda was the answer and I took too much and some of my clients took too much. And then I went, well, this ain't the answer for everything like they were selling me on, right? You can overdo everything. So if you were drinking carbonic, okay, let's talk about this. You can overdo acidic things. You can overdo alkaline things. Okay. I know people can overdo baking soda. I've seen it. I've done it. Can people overdo acidic things? Well, how did sparkling waters and fizzy drinks get a bad reputation health-wise? Because you're drinking acidity all day. Okay. So then we get into, I see Kelsey in the chat. So Kelsey, when she was first learning about nicotinic acid from DK, was doing high dose nicotinic acid. And she ended up causing herself some teeth issues, some dental issues because of the excess acidity. So do you see how this is why we don't want to do extremes. And that's how Kelsey figured out why buffering the niacin was important. So all of us are here because we've made mistakes in the past. The other gentleman I mentioned who doesn't buffer his niacin seems to have chronically bad dental issues. He does not buffer his niacin. Kelsey figured out the buffering niacin, and we brought that to the Love Your Liver program. She brought it to the Love Your Liver program. Thank you, Kelsey. And so I just want to show you that, like, when you're taking in things that are constantly acidic, especially the higher the doses you get, right? Dose-dependent response. So if you had, let's say, sparkling water once a day, is that going to be a big problem? Probably not. If you decide that you're going to drink sparkling water as all your water all day long, could you cause a problem? Yes. If people start getting into mega doses of flush niacin and it's acidic, could they cause themselves health problems? Sure. Could people, if people drink lemon juice in their water all day long and they're running acid over their teeth all day long, could they get teeth problems? Sure. You can overdo anything. That doesn't mean that this is the problem. So essential things that you could overdo, like zinc. Somebody the other day said, is there any problem with me taking 50 to 100 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day? And I was like, yeah, there could absolutely be problems. In the literature, long-term zinc toxicity, the lowest end I've seen in terms of zinc intake causing long-term zinc toxicity was 100 milligrams. So most of the doses were way higher than that. But I have seen there are some case studies in the literature of zinc toxicity starting at 100 milligrams a day and for a long period of time. Okay. So then if somebody asks me that on Twitter, is 50 to 100 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day, am I going to say that that's okay? No, I'm not going to ever say that that's okay. Some people can't even take 5 milligrams of zinc without symptoms. So why would I say 100 milligrams is good for them? Let's say there's guys who are like the sledgehammer types and they can take tons of zinc without feeling anything. Does that mean they're not going to develop toxicity? No, they're already sledgehammer types. They can't feel anything anyway. They wouldn't catch the toxicity until it's really, really deep. So why would I give them a recommendation to take some dose that in the literature has already been shown to cause toxicity? I would challenge anybody to find any research in the literature of anyone getting zinc toxicity at 30 milligrams a day, which is my safe long-term recommendation. Okay. Might you need more than that? Sure. Might you react badly to that much if you're really toxic in your liver? Sure. So did I say everybody should take 30 milligrams a day? No, I didn't. I don't know why people have such trouble interpreting these things. Or they just try to twist my words to make me look bad, which is what those type of people do. So, Sebastian added, I used to chug carbonated water and apple cider vinegar back in my keto days. Absolutely destroyed my teeth and wiped out all my gut bacteria. See, we can overdo food things, right? I mean, technically it's hard to call vinegar a food. But it's acidic. And then carbonated water is acidic. So this is why, like, is alcohol a toxin? Yes. Does that mean it's going to like show up? Like, how much damage does alcohol cause? Well, that's dependent on all sorts of factors. You can't just say that, like, could somebody say, well, geez, doc, I had one shot of clear vodka a week ago and it didn't do anything to me. Yeah, it didn't upset the system that much. Okay. You start having a shot of vodka every day, might it start accumulating problems? Yeah. Start having 5 shots of vodka a day, is it going to start causing problems? Yeah. So it's not that the dose makes the poison. This is the dumbest. I can't believe I think I used to say this. The dose makes the poison. No, because if something's a poison, it's a poison. Like ethanol is technically a poison in our system. There's nobody who's going to tell me that we need ethanol. And we know that as you go up in dose in ethanol, it becomes more toxic. It's not that it's not toxic to begin with. It's that we can make it more toxic and see more problems as we take in more. Mercury. Is anybody going to argue that we need mercury or that mercury isn't toxic? Okay. So if you take in a little bit of mercury, maybe you don't have any symptoms. Does that mean it's not a toxin? No. It means you don't have symptoms. Is our medical system very good at finding subtle symptoms, subtle problems before they start? No, they're terrible at it. Does that mean the dose wasn't a poison? No, it just means they couldn't tell. Now, could you take too much zinc? Yes, I've always said this. Could you take too much selenium? Yes. Are some types of selenium much worse than others? Yes. Do you know that there's a form of emulsified vitamin A? Emulsified, or was it lipophilic? I think it's emulsified vitamin A. They started giving emulsified vitamin A supplements versus just regular vitamin A in oil. Okay. So like cod liver oil would be like vitamin A in oil. But they were giving these emulsified, choline. Oh, for all you egg cells, this is an important thing for you. They were giving emulsified, so like vitamin A wrapped in choline. And they said it was 10 times more toxic than the regular vitamin A in oil. So all of a sudden we have the same compound, but the way they give it is 10 times more toxic. Was it ever not a toxin? No, it was always a toxin. Can you make toxins more toxic? Yes, you can. Let me go find that one. Let me go find that paper. Here we go. Joe, you got this? Here we go. Water-miscible, emulsified, and solid forms of retinol supplements are more toxic than oil-based preparations. So not just that one's toxic and one's not, it's that it's more toxic. 20 years ago, they're still selling this crap. Are they trying to poison you? Let's see. This is a fun line. It is well established that an excess intake of retinol is toxic. Well established. Why are people forgetting about this today? Okay. Chronic hypervitaminosis A is induced after daily doses of 2 milligrams of retinol per kilogram in oil-based preparations for many months or years. In contrast, doses as low as 0.2 milligrams of retinol per kilogram per day in water-miscible, that means it's dissolved in water. I'll look up that definition just so you guys can all see it. Emulsified, that means it is made water-soluble, right? If you emulsify a salad dressing, the oil and the vinegar stop separating. How can you emulsify a salad dressing? Oh, you put an egg yolk in it. Oh, weird. And solid preparations for only a few weeks. I want you to look at that. Ten times less vitamin A over only a couple weeks. 10 times less. Only a few weeks. Why do you think we see people who take in massive amounts of animal-based vitamin A and they'll brag about how much choline is in their eggs and how much choline is in their liver? How do you think the body, do you know this? So emulsified, let's just look this up just so we can see, just so we have the definitions for everybody. Okay, miscible, capable of being mixed in all proportions, used for liquids. So they mean capable of being mixable. Okay, water and alcohol are miscible in all proportions, so you can just mix them. Water and gasoline are not miscible, they don't mix. Benzene and alcohol, ethyl alcohol are miscible, and ethyl alcohol is miscible with water, but water is not miscible with benzene. Okay, so it just means mixable. So water mixable vitamin A means you can mix it in water, which means why would this be more toxic than regular vitamin A? Well, so let's say you store regular vitamin A in fat. Okay, so now you just took in a fancy vitamin A that can now be stored in water. So now you've opened up your body to a whole new place to put this toxin. Do you understand? Okay, that should make sense. Like normally it's fat soluble, it's fat storable, but you make it water storable and you store a bunch of it in places where it's really not supposed to be, and you cause problems. So emulsified. Okay. I have a lot of people on the internet who like to come to me and be like, but choline is so important. Choline. And I go, okay, cool. You must have choline to store vitamin A in the liver. Lecithin, retinol, acyl transferase, LRAT, LRAT. Look it up. What is lecithin? Phosphatidylcholine. A choline bound to a phosphatide, right? Phosphatidylcholine. You must have that to store vitamin A in your liver. You need a free fatty acid ester. So you need fats floating around, and you need phosphatidylcholine, lecithin. What comes in egg yolks? Oh, egg lecithin and vitamin A. Gosh, do you think that's emulsified? That's how you, as I went over earlier, that's how we emulsify things. Like if you want to emulsify or make fats and waters mix, you can add an egg yolk, which has phosphatidylcholine in it, and they will then stay together. That is emulsified. So, gosh, does it make sense that egg vitamin A and egg choline would be very good, the best, at storing vitamin A in your liver in the highest amounts? And if you eat them with other vitamin A foods, it's going to help store even more of that vitamin A. Now, the solid preparations, I'm not real familiar with this, but just again, 10 times less, only a few weeks. The results of the present study indicate that the physical form of retinol supplements is a major determinant of toxicity. The results of the present study indicate that the physical form of retinol supplements is a major determinant of toxicity. Do you want to know one of the only things that saves like vegans from getting super vitamin A toxic? Is that a lot of them don't eat much fat, and that they're definitely not eating a lot of choline. So they don't store all that beta carotene that they're eating in their liver. That's one of the few things. Now, they don't get enough protein, and there's all sorts of problems for most people with a vegan diet. Like there are some people who can manage it. Very, very few. Very few, in my opinion. But the form of vitamin A is here's the form of retinol supplements. The people who have done Accutane are the hardest to fix. Well, that's retinoic acid. The people who get sick from doing tons of animal vitamin A also take a really long time to fix, and they're the ones with the highest serum retinol, like Val had at a 60. Beta carotene alone, if there's not a lot of fat in the diet, you don't store it. You don't suck it up into your blood and store it very well. I'm not advocating a vegan diet, but what we do here is we look at all of it and we minimize our plant vitamin A and we minimize our animal vitamin A, and we don't take in excess fats. And here's the magic, folks. If you're eating beef, you're getting plenty of choline. So another reason, if you're worried about choline, eat beef. You can make choline in your body. So between eating beef and making choline in your body, where is the problem that these people say that there's going to be a problem? They'll say that if you don't get enough choline, you're going to get fatty liver. Are our people getting fatty liver? No, we're fixing it. So, yeah. Kelsey said she keeps the empty bottle of the, which one did you take, Kelsey? I saw you mention it up there. Where did she say that? She took micellized. Kelsey took micellized vitamin A, and she says, I keep the empty bottle on my shelf to remind me not to be so stupid, and stupid in all caps. We all did it. Oh my gosh. Me taking the astaxanthin, cod liver oil. You want to see okay, so this is a guy who I went to school with. This is the last thing, I promise. Let me find it. I want to find a good picture of the ingredients. So this is a product called Nutrient 950. Oh, wait, I want the pregnancy one. Oh my gosh. No. I want the pregnancy one. This is insane. If they may not even wait. There it is. This will be a good one. So let's see if they have it on here. There we go. They've lowered this a bit. I don't know if we can make it. Hold on. Okay. So when I was in naturopathic medical school, these were originally formulated by, let's see if they mention him. They may not mention him anymore. These were formulated, I can't remember his name. He was the head of the environmental medicine, which basically means detoxing. Environmental medicine area of our college. And he would have, his I don't know, seminars that were like a month in total. And it was something like $12,000 to go to. And here, I'll put this in there. So it used to be Nutrient 950, at least the one that I remember looking at. I mean, the one that I took, the dose on it used to be 12 capsules a day. This was a multivitamin of 12 caps a day. A lot of my female classmates and even myself, a lot of the women who tried to take it, they tried to take the 12 capsules and they would throw it up. Is that a good sign? No. I took it and I got nauseous a couple days, and then I decided I was not going to take it anymore. So let's go look at this. Let's go look. So they're giving this to people who are supposedly toxic, and that's their issues. So what are we giving here? Wait, I'm in the wrong. Let me click on this window. So they're saying 6 vegetarian capsules. So they've lowered the dose. 15,000 units of beta carotene. They're going to give you vitamin D whether you like it or not. I'm not going to hit on every one of these. We're going to get vitamin E. So what are the 2 of the 3 supplements in the literature that the media will use to badmouth all supplements? Beta carotene, vitamin E. Okay, we got all this other. So we got niacinamide. We got crap niacin. Don't ever take this. You can get your neuropathy from your B6. Make sure you get your calcium in there. Got to calcify. Make sure you take your iron, whether you like it or not. Iodine. Potassium iodide. I've shown before how this ruins thyroids. Magnesium citrate is not well absorbed. Zinc picolinate. Hey, here's one thing in there. Selenium, selenomethionine. Hopefully this isn't yeast-based. If you're going to use selenomethionine, use stuff that's not from yeast. This is not a bad dose. This is the normal dose. Okay? But this is, we're moving towards selenium glycinate instead of selenomethionine, because then we get the glycine, and we also don't get a sulfur-containing amino acid, more of them via the methionine. Oh, here's some copper for you. Don't need that. Don't want manganese. Chromium's a toxic metal. Molybdenum aspartate. Yeah, that's nice. Potassium aspartate. Let's damage your kidneys with some boron. Vanadium is not an essential nutrient. Inositol hexaniacinate. Well, at least you get some niacin. There's that. Some nicotinic acid. Oh, more B6. Just in case your nerves were not in neuropathy yet, we're going to give you both pyridoxine HCl and pyridoxal 5-phosphate, and then you get the mixed carotenoids. So they didn't put any retinol in it, but they've got beta carotene, lutein, lycopene, and zeaxanthin. I know they probably have another one with vitamin A in it, well, retinol in it. Anyway, people used to throw this stuff up. Bob Dylan says, I used to take this supplement. I think it was the zinc that helped me the most without me knowing it. Probably. I mean, the zinc in the supplement, and it's got zinc and selenium and molybdenum in it. It does have those. Oh, yeah. And Kelsey posted the Claire, Claire Labs micellized vitamin A liquid, 5,000 units vitamin A per drop. Vitamin A palmitate and beta carotene together in there. Yeah. Micellized. I mean, that's more than 10 times as toxic, because it went from, 2 milligrams for a long period down to 0.2 over weeks. So it is even more toxic. So I think that's all we're going to go over today. I have to get going to my Inner Circle, the private live stream I do after this. So remember, folks, if you need any links from me, oh yeah, and we went over the Alec Zeck podcast at the start, so we know all about that. Yeah, if you need any more links from me, they're all down below, including Kelsey's Etsy store, where you can get some Niasoda if you want to do that. We are going to have an exciting supplement announcement. I'm sure it's going to be this week. We'll probably have several exciting supplement announcements over this week and next week. And then we're constantly working on new stuff. If these companies can ever get us stuff out there. Yeah. So anyway, have a great week. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got lots of new things. Feel free to use that Alec Zeck podcast to help other people. Some people have said, like I said, some people have said it's my best podcast that I've done yet. We keep doing more podcasts. I swear every Monday and Friday I'm on like another podcast. So anyway, have a great week. Hope you all learned something. Keep up the good work. Send the testimonials, like post the testimonials and send them to us. Put them on our Google Places. Like, get the testimonials out on the internet so that all the jibber jabber that these losers are doing about us is overwhelmed with the testimonials of how it's working. That's what we need to do. People want to know it works. They don't care that much about the papers. They want to know that it works. So yeah, like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. And I will see you all next week. Oh, wait, one more thing. I'm going to do a special episode that's going to air in 2 weeks with John David. On Twitter, he is Hypnostrategist, HYPNOSTRAGETIST, Hypnostrategist, at Hypnostrategist. And it's going to be on dopamine and dopamine addictions and how it's connected to your detox, and how these dopamine addictions are actually slowing down your detox. And it'll all start to make sense as to why when you quit these things, you can feel so bad all of a sudden. I did mention John's book. I want to make sure I'm saying the title right. I can't believe it's this easy, or something like that. It's about screen addiction. His main work is in helping people with addictions and to get over them, especially 2 of his biggest areas are screen addiction. That's what he wrote his book about. But he's particularly good at helping men get out of porn addiction. So if you want to contact him, yeah, Hypnostrategist on Twitter, and we're going to do our special episode. We're going to record it first, and then in 2 weeks, that's going to be the live stream. Well, it's going to take the place of the live stream. It's going to be the Love Your Liver for that week. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Bye now.